Hey guys, Jay here from the Blaenau Gwent Film Academy, coming at you with another one of my top acting tips. We're continuing with our series of acting in different environments. Last time we did acting in the desert, and today we're doing something completely different. We're acting in the snow. So if we're making a film about being in the snow, where could it be? It could be in the North Pole, going to Santa's workshop. It could be an Arctic exploration, trying to find the South Pole. It could be running along with penguins and polar bears and seals. Or it could be you've woken up and there's snow everywhere and you're excited to go have a snowball fight, okay? It could be any of those, but we're in the middle of summer. But I want to make a snow film. Well, sorry, there's no snow outside, so how do we do it? Do we leave the freezer open? Do we scrape all the sort of frost from the freezer and put it on our heads? We could, but I don't know how good it would look. But I suppose we could sort of get a green screen and put snow behind us and pretend that there's snow there. But it's going to look a bit funny if we're in the middle of a heat wave, the sun is shining, we got snow behind us and I'm sweating and being like, I'm really cold. Not really going to work. That's why as actors, we need to use our skills to communicate to the audience that we are in a snowy environment, okay? So, snowy environments, it's a snow day, what sort of qualities do they have? Well, for starters, it's cold. That's sort of its whole thing, isn't it? That snow is cold. So, how do we act as though it's cold? Well, first of all, instead of standing just normally like this with my arms out, I'm probably going to sort of like clench up like this, okay? Because if it's really cold, I want to be as warm as possible. So closing my body up and like crossing my arms like that, that's the best way of acting to trying to keep warm, okay? And see what I do with my shoulders? I'm bringing them up, okay? And that sort of keeps my neck warmer, right? Now imagine you're wearing a big furry coat. You can sort of like put it around, pretend to button it up, and then sort of like tuck it in like that. Cross your arms, okay? It's really cold, okay? And see what I'm doing here? Sort of rubbing my arms to make them a bit warmer, okay? That's a great communicator of, this person is cold. So rubbing your arms like this. Another great thing you can do is shivering, okay? When people are really cold, especially if you're acting in a film that is set in like Alaska or Russia or something where it's really, really cold, is you'll be shivering, okay? So what is shivering? That's just sort of like vibrating your body. You're not like, I'm really cold. It's more sort of like an enclosed small thing, all right? So it's great to do with just your arms like that. All you're doing is shaking them really gently, okay? And you can even do it really small like that. Be like, it's cold. Okay, doing this. Rub your hands together. It's a great way, just like rubbing your arms, rub your hands, blow into them. It's cold. And this is a great thing to do to communicate that it's cold, is breathing in while shivering your jaw. Okay? Now, I don't know why we do that when it's cold, but I just sort of, when you see people in films acting as though it's cold, they're always like, so it's a great communicator as to the environment, that it's cold, okay? So, combining these, tucking your jacket in, really looks as though I'm cold, okay? Another thing, if you're in a cold environment, say you're in the North Pole looking for Santa Claus, it might be snowing, okay? So, instead of, we could like go and get some polystyrene and sprinkle it over our heads, okay? But maybe it's easier to just pretend that there's snow on us. And that can do a lot more in itself than props can. And we can put props and effects in later. But as actors, it's really good if you just sort of brush. Imagine it's snowing coming down and you're like, it's getting all over you. It's in my head. Okay? So that's just a little thing that can sort of like transform your cold acting. Now, another thing of acting in a snowy environment is the fact that there's going to be snow on the ground. So what do we do when we walk through snow? Well, if it's particularly deep snow, it's going to be quite difficult. So we're going to need to go, okay? Because remember, when you put your foot on snow, it then crushes down to the actual floor. So if you're walking through a big sort of North Pole environment, it's going to be kind of difficult because the snow might be very deep. You might have to pick your leg up over the snow. And you can imagine me picking my knees up now to walk through deep snow, okay? But it's just imagining the acting and everything else. So if I'm really shivering, like this, and I'm really gives the effect of me walking through deep snow. Now, perhaps in your film you come across a frozen lake. That requires something different, because frozen lakes, they turn into ice. And what is ice? Very slippery. So we need to act as though we're on a slippery, frozen lake. Okay, so if we just walk through the snow and then, we're on a frozen lake. Then we walk, whoa, it's a bit slippy. Whoa. And be very careful if you're acting, pretending to slip, because you can actually just, actually fall over. That's why you need to be really careful and sort of remember where your feet are when you're acting as though you slip, okay? Or I'm not actually slipping when I do that. I'm just kicking my leg forward and lifting my arms up. Whoa, leaning my body in different directions, okay? And when that's in the film, combining all of this, having lots of snowy effects around us, and then, whoa, I'm on a frozen lake, okay? That can look really good, okay? So, if you're making your film about an Arctic exploration, remember to include all of these qualities. It can really transform a film by just acting as though you're in that place. So have a go at home, have a go at watching any sort of snowy movies like Frozen or Frozen 2. Two great snowy movies, or anything to do with Christmas, but it's the summer, your choice, okay? And have a look how people act when they're in the snow, and see if you can spot anyone who's not acting as though they're cold, okay? Because it might not actually be cold where they're filming it, okay? So remember, stay active, stay acting, and have fun.